Good morning. I'm Amy Luciano. I'm your service leader today, and during Joys and Concerns, we'll talk about why I'm late. I do not like being disorganized. So, welcome to all the good folks that did get here and folks on Zoom, and my lovely two assistants. And so, we are an open-minded, open-hearted, spiritual community. Our mission is to provide a community that nurtures personal and spiritual growth, practices inclusiveness, celebrates diversity, and affirms individual and collective commitment to community service and social justice. We acknowledge that we are meeting today on the ancestral, unceded land of the Mi'kmaq people. The peace and friendship treaties of the 18th century remind us that we are all still treaty people. In keeping with our UU principles, we commit ourselves to collaboratively move towards truth, reconciliation, and equity for the Indigenous, Black, and other marginalized people who experience systemic oppression in our communities. We are also called to address the human-caused climate crisis threatening us all. Our opening words in chalice lighting is number 594. In our gray hymnal. We affirm and promote the inherent worth and dignity of every person. I forgot to say this.
And every person is important.
We affirm and promote justice, equity, and compassion in the human relations.
We believe that all people should be treated fairly.
We affirm and promote acceptance of one another and encouragement to spiritual growth.
We believe that our churches are places where all people are accepted and where we keep learning together.
We affirm and promote a free and responsible search for truth and meaning.
We believe that each person must be free to search for what is true and right in life.
We affirm and promote the right of conscience and the use of the democratic process.
We believe that all people should have a voice and a voice about the things which concern them.
We affirm and promote the goal of a world community where peace, liberty, and justice is for all.
We believe that we should work for a peaceful, fair, and free world.
We affirm and promote respect for the interdependent web of all existence of which we are a part. We believe that we should care for our planet Earth. A lighter.
Ex-smoker here. Now, where's this thing? Is that?
That's a,
So it's a wick.
yeah. New experience.
Yeah, that's right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, and so our opening hymn is number 1074 in the Teal book, and it's called Turn the World Around.
We don't.
That might get your hearts going.
And it is an excellent performance.
We did our best.
And now, if anyone has any joys, sorrows, or complex truths they would like to share, this is your time. The microphone is here.
Okay. We are going to have to.
Make sure that the yellow light is off.
Okay. Hello. Okay. So there was a pride parade yesterday. And we had at least 16 people. Yay. Yeah, I think that's a remarkable accomplishment. So the group marched, and I got separated from the group because I was too slow.
And I was even slower, and they disappeared at Scotia Square. And
okay, so what happened is that the UUCH school system picked me up and had me ride on their truck. And I spent the whole parade waving like I usually do. So when we got to the end, you got as far as
Scotia Square, Parade Square.
the field, but
They
we couldn't find the rest of the group. So we're still piecing together things like the broom handles that held our banner belonged to somebody, and he hasn't gotten them back because we don't know where the banner is. So we will find that out, and but I'm very pleased 16 of us showed up. There were 5 of our spirit circle showed up, and 3 people from the refugee committee showed up, and Faith showed up, and Marilyn showed up, and you know, it was wonderful. Thank you.
Anyone else?
But it was too fast.
Amy?
Good morning. I don't
Good
think there's
morning.
anyone here who doesn't know me. I just want to thank those of you who sent me your sympathies, condolences, etc., either by telephone or email or cards. It was all lovely. I thank you so much. I love you all so much.
We love you.
Thank you. I'm doing well, in case you're wondering. People always ask me, "Oh, how are you doing?" I'm doing fine, thank you. And not to say that I'm not sad. My son was wonderful to me and to everyone else, and I will always miss him. I miss him at this moment. We're planning a wonderful celebration of life at the Greek Orthodox Church on Purcell's Cove Road for August 22nd. There will be music, there will be pictures, there will be singing, there will be food, there will be many, many people who remember him lovingly. It's going to be great, so if you can come, all are welcome. Thanks again for everything.
And we need the carpool because there's no buses to Purcell's Cove Road anymore.
Actually, there is a bus, I
There
think
is
it's
now?
425 or something, yeah. Well, maybe some people can carpool or just, kind of find their resources somehow. I'll be too busy to go and get you.
What time would they put this in?
Beg your pardon?
What time?
Oh, what time? It starts at 1 o'clock. At 1 o'clock, it goes till 2:30, and a burial will follow directly afterwards with a little drive out to the Sunrise Interfaith Cemetery in Hatchet Lake, where some of our other members of this church are buried. I think that's all. Thank you.
Anyone else? Anyone on Zoom?
No one on Zoom by the looks of it.
Okay. Why do people use art to protest? There are 8 reasons for artistic activism. It mobilizes affect and effect. Thrives in our community landscape. Has been used through history. Creates openings. Is accessible. And stimulates a culture of creativity. Energizes people and organizations. And of course, number 8, it's about the long game. Our reflective hymn is number 1043, Rivers of Babylon.
1042. It should be 1042, not 1042.
Okay. So, a little typo here. Well, if everybody can go to okay. So, our spirit, art, and activism. Art activism is a vital component of social movements. Art activism uses creative expression to address social and political issues, inspiring change when we are raising awareness through various forms of art, I've got bifocals and I'm not, I don't know. And so we raise awareness, various forms of our artistic talents with spoken word, paintings, murals, graffiti, postering, and the like. Our fourth principle that asks us for a free and responsible search for truth and meaning demands that we participate in our local community. The fifth principle allows us to engage in actions and activities like the members did yesterday, marching proudly in the Pride Parade, so bright and colorful. We promoted the sixth principle goal of a world community where there is peace, tolerance, and justice for all. Now, individually, we can strive to live lives that abide to the final fourth principle that asks us to be a part of it all. The impact of art activism is to raise awareness and mobilize our communities to a collective action. It can create emotional connections that drive people to engage with bigger societal issues on a deeper level. Paintings like The Last Supper by Leonardo da Vinci, done between 1494 and 1498, was a statement about the Christian church. It is very likely the most famous piece of protest art. Through artistic expression, the creator can build deeper connections with the causes they believe in and care about, strengthen the solidarity, and inspire collective action. Art and activism share many of the same goals, such as communicating new ideas, disrupting the status quo, and to inspire a collective action within us. Creativity is at the heart of social justice movements because it nurtures the imagination needed to build new futures that are rooted in dignity and care for all, with justice. Creative rebellion is when the art becomes a means for social justice that can name social change. Creativity. It is a new domain for equity. My personal experience has been with postering, and I always knew that the event was going to be successful if in 2 days before things happened, there were no posters left. I knew to get more food. Our closing hymn is number 1017, Building a New Way. be lovely if the group would like to do that. Did you hear that? Irene would like to have people, if they choose, to give a personal statement about some act that changed their lives. And she will begin.
I remember a long time ago, I'm sorry I can't think of something contemporary, but a long time ago, Judy Chicago did a work on women, and for one thing, she put down tiles on the floor of 1,000 women, and certainly none of us, I don't think, can make a list of 1,000 women. So, that was the first thing. The floor was covered with these names of prominent women. And then she had a table that she designed, 13 people on each side of a triangle. And she had people working on doing weavings under each plate. She had the names of women, 13 women on each side, and she had weavers weaving runners to be under the plates, and then she had plates designed because ceramic is one of the hardest materials in the world. So anywhere that art exhibit is shown, it's housed at the Brooklyn Museum, but it's shown, different places, different years. So, those museums don't have 1,000 women's artwork. And those museums they may not have 13 times 3 is 39. They may not. All right, so I think that artwork changed the world because she insisted that people know more.
Anyone else? Thank you, Sheepad.
The piece of art that I'm going to describe, I'm not quite sure it would qualify as art, and to say that it changed my life would probably be exaggeration. It had some impact on me, but I would not say it changed my life. So many years ago, in the 1960s, I was studying at Stanford, and I attended a class as kind of out of interest. And the professor handed out a piece of paper on which there was a picture. And he asked students to describe what they saw in the picture. So many people described the picture as being a woman around 75 years old with a long kind of a beaked nose, kind of a sunken cheek, disheveled hair, and in general, an unattractive person. The other students began to challenge that. They said, "Are you sure? Are you crazy? That's not at all right." The picture describes a young woman, quite attractive, with a nice nose, nicely shaped, nicely done hair, and well-dressed, and so on. So he got a debate going about those between who thought the picture was of an old, not very attractive woman, and the picture of the other woman, and they tried to convince each other that they were right, and in fact the other person was crazy, they were not seeing things right. And eventually, after about 20 minutes of this, it dawned on people that there's something strange going on here, that they cannot convince each other about what they're seeing. And then the professor showed the joint picture in which it could be seen as either an old woman or a young woman. What he had done was he had taken those two pictures kind of apart and given separate pictures, one of a younger woman, the other of the older woman, but it was actually part of the same picture. And after seeing that common picture, everybody had a kind of a great flash of insight that we did not really know what we were talking about because we were not really paying attention to the other side. We did not think that they were worth listening to. We thought they were crazy. Obviously, they could not see what was in front of them and so on. So it taught me a lot about how we miscommunicate with people because we don't really listen very well because we don't think it's worth listening to. The other person is obviously wrong. He's a Democrat, he's a Republican, he's a liberal, NDP, he's a UU, he's Catholic, what have you. So in that sense, it was something that I remember to this day. Anybody else?
I actually saw that picture too. I think it probably,
You're going to have to use the mic.
oh, I'm not saying too much, so I'll just, yeah, I've seen those pictures, you know, where the faces are, depending on how you're looking, it's either or.
The trick the professor played was to give separate pictures, not one picture that could be seen either way, but two different pictures which would separate the two so that there was no possibility that if you got the old woman picture, that never would you say that that showed a woman, young woman. But if you got a young woman picture, you would never say that that was an old woman. So it created the controversy because we saw two aspects of the same picture.
Hey there, I'm Andrew. Some of you know me. I'm not going to be describing a particular picture or painting or poster or graffiti, but rather I would like to point out that this past Thursday, I ended up seeing a whole lot of art right now here in our city. I don't know how many of you are familiar with the Everyone Every Day Center. It is from the Friendship Center. It's up on Gottingen Street, right across the street from the
The original
Friendship
Buckley's Music Store.
Center.
Here from
And
40 years ago.
they're a community outreach center from the Mi'kmaq Friendship Center. And this past Thursday, they do all sorts of events that are entirely free and do not require pre-registration. They're just drop in. Their calendar of events is actually in their window, which is really convenient if you walk Gottingen Street, and is how I found out about this one. And they led a roughly 1 hour Indigenous art walk through the North End, showing off murals in particular. And there is a lot. And they were only just looking specifically at Indigenous artists whose murals are throughout the North End, and pointing out that Halifax, this city, has a huge amount of public art. And every single one of them, yes, is trying to change the world. So I would advocate both keeping your eyes open as we walk through the city, because we have a huge amount of art. Not all of it even publicly commissioned. Some of it is individual buildings or stores or owners or who have asked someone to paint a mural on the side of their building. Some of it is by the city or the province or even the federal government, by lots of different people. And also, I will recommend stopping by the Everyone Every Day Center up on Gottingen Street and taking advantage of some of their public community building programming. Thank you.
Amy?
I think Scott has one.
Okay.
I just wanted to mention one thing that might be of interest. When I first came to Halifax in the 60s, one of the people I met was a man named Robert Parker. He's an architect and he was a community planner, and he worked at the Nova Scotia College of Art and Design, and he was a community activist. And just recently, he was here for many years, and then he went back to Taos, New Mexico. He's an extraordinary artist, and he just published this book. I think, let's see, you could probably see that, uh, called Convergence, Robert Parker. And the interesting thing is that Bob was always doing architecture, always doing community planning, and always doing art. And over the 7 decades of his artwork, uh, these things were intertwined because they often, the things that he was, most often the things he was doing as an architect or a planner or a community activist were reflected in his art. I just wanted to mention that. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any more on Zoom or live and in person? Closing words as we extinguish the challenge are that we go forward with your own personal inspiration to create with love and dignity a better world. Use your artistic expression to challenge the unjust. Use your spoken words to inspire the change we need today. Always mindful of the next 7 generations' needs for our future.